So yeah, and obviously told I'd got a broken leg and whatever, and I was in a tough position, as I say. It was the recession at the time, 2009. Unfortunately, I'd lost all my sponsors and stuff. Just bought in a brand new Range Rover Sport, which I probably shouldn't have done in hindsight, but there you go. I remember when they actually delivered the car, I couldn't drive it because I was on crutches, obviously, because my leg was broke. I was like, let's just look at the manual. I was like, mate, I can't even drive it. Like, it's mental. But anyway, I think, well, I've got to fight anyway because I need the money, and I've earned this. It's my British title. I've earned this right to earn the money.
You weren't nervous knowing that you had this injury?
Do you know what? It was really strange because we changed the way I trained, and a lot of this game is, and like any top sport, it's all about the mental way you attack it. And I'll be honest with you, I had quite a few guys come down and watch me sparring and stuff, and I'd change my style around because I'd sparred Matt in the past and stuff, and I knew it was all about movements and stuff like that. And obviously, I knew I couldn't move because my leg would play me up. So all my sparring was geared towards just walking someone down. And I just thought, I'm just going to shock him, basically. I'm just going to walk in there. I'm just going to go, I knew I could bang a little bit anyway, so let's just walk it down and change it around. He's going to be expecting me to move, and I'm just going to meet him head on. And that was the plan. And my sparring partners, we had Danny McIntosh, who was the European champion light heavyweight. He was down sparring me. I had Tony Oki, who was a light heavyweight British Commonwealth champion, light heavy. Again, they couldn't push me back, and I was pushing them back because I couldn't run round. I was just walking them down, and I was just having it out of them, basically. And I thought, if I could do that to a light heavyweight, what will I do to a middleweight? So my mentality was like that all the way up to the fight. And I remember one of the boxing fans coming down and watching me spar and saying, like, you're not moving around, are you? You've done something to your leg? And I said, no. He said, look, he looks a little bit unsettled. I said, no, mate, it's what it is. I'm just going to surprise him, mate.
Different technique, yeah.
Different technique. He's expecting me to be moving. I'm just going to come in and have a rat. I'm going to have a row, really. You're going to fit this fight in the phone box. And so everything changed. It geared towards it. And for some reason, I was like rowing like an Olympic rower in terms of times and stuff. I was mega fit. I ain't going to lie. I got myself round it without doing the running.
Yeah.
But I think it really come to a head the final week of the fight. So like right now, going into the fight, I thought, this is going to be a shock. Imagine me sitting on the telly after and saying, look, I had actually done it with a broken leg.
Yeah.
This is going to like blow everyone away, man. This guy's he's done it with a broken leg. That's mad. So anyway, that was my idea in my head. That's the way I am. I love proving people wrong, and I thought I could do it. The final week of the fight was hard because I do my road running to cut the weight. I struggle to, naturally I'm walking around over 13 stone, and you're getting down to 11 stone 6 for the fight. And at 13 stone is where I am now. There's not a lot on me anyway, do you know what I mean? So to get down to 11.6, it was a killer. Running used to help do it massively. It was a big part of me ritual, if you like, and preparing. I couldn't do the running, obviously, because I couldn't run at the time. So I literally had to just starve myself. But now, because I've got this break, and I'm not putting the nutrients into the body, it amplifies how bad it was. It's constantly hurting because I'm not giving the bones nutrients they needed. So it was a difficult time, really, to be fair. So that last week was hell, making the weight. I made the weight, and then I tried to refuel up and whatever after. And then I really believe I kind of broke down on the day. I think the night of the fight came, it was on ITV4, and I remember them coming to me and saying, "Oh, champ, when you're ready, like, we're ready to go in." And I was like, "Yeah, brilliant." And I remember looking across, and Matt Macklin was coming past my dressing room door with his trainer, Joe Gallagher, at the time. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he gave me a lot. First off, I didn't actually think Matt was going to actually take the fight. I thought he was going to pull out. We'd had things. I knew Matt for a long time, and I thought he might pull out anyway, so that might give me leg chance to heal. But that didn't work out. He had the fight. But anyway, when I seen him that night, he looked like a man on a mission, and I thought, I've seen that look before. It was me against Eastman sort of thing. And I remember looking at Paddy and thinking, like, and I looked at Paddy and I went, Pad, I haven't done my running. And he went, oh, don't give me all this now. You've got over that. You're here now. You can't do this now. I went, but I haven't, have I? And I think that they literally, the confidence has gone. So I'm thinking, like, well, I've got to fight anyway. I can't. But listen, when he hits me with something decent, I'll find the canvas. This is in my head, like, but I can't look too dodgy because I don't want my money withheld. You know what I mean? You can't look, it's a setup sort of thing. So, but anyway, yeah. So we get into the fight now. And I'm thinking, like, I'm looking for something now to give me a bit of confidence. So when we get in there, I'm in the blue corner. I always like boxing at the blue corner for whatever reason. So I'm in the blue corner, so I think, great. So he gets in the ring and I thought, might be my night. After all, we're in the blue corner. They come over to me, they went, Wayne, he's in the wrong corner. You're in the red corner, mate. It's going to be one of them days. You just feel like things. He got into the ring and got into the wrong corner. So he's like, no, you're not. You're in the red corner. So anyway, I got into the... went into the red corner then, obviously, and I'm just thinking, all right, fair enough. We're here now. We just got to do it. What will be, sort of thing. And we got in there and we started boxing. For whatever reason, I started moving around the ring, because I'm remembering when we sparred, and I know he didn't like the movements and stuff, but everything was off. You can't see it watching from the outside, but I know in here the shots ain't coming off. I've not sparred this way, so everything just felt dead foreign. It was like, I can't get the shots off.
Was that to do with the confidence? You went in there not as confident as you.
Well, yeah, but you can't. You spar like you're gonna fight. So if I'm sparring, just walking someone down, now all of a sudden I'm trying to bounce around the ring when the body's not really strong enough to do it. So we do this for the first kind of round. I'm like, comes back to padding, and I'm like, my leg's killing me, pad. And I was like, I'm just going to have to stand and just take a beating here. Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to have to stand and have it. I'm just standing and have a beating. I ain't walking him down. I'm in pain because I've knackered my leg up running around the ring. And so I thought, here we go. And I remember when I got stopped. I got more pushed down, if you like. I mean, just because my leg weren't strong enough in some respects. And then I got back up and I thought, all right, here goes. Just give me the best you've got. And he was like, I remember getting hit with a shot and going back. And then thinking, I'm still here.
Okay.
Hit me again. I thought, I'm still here.
Still standing.
Bang, I'm still in. And the referee obviously jumps in. But all I could think about at the time was if only my leg weren't broke.
Yeah.
So I'm not pissed now. And I've got a renewed vigour. So I've got to get that belt back. And so I was matched against a guy called Darren Barker for the British and Commonwealth because Matt gave up the British title straight after. Okay. Went on for Golovkin and some of the other, I can't remember who else he fought, Sturm. Fought some good fighters after. But anyway, he gives the British up. So again, because he done well against Sturm and he done well against the guys he fought, Martinez, he fought him as well. He done really well. So it didn't hurt my reputation. So like, Matt's really that good, but I ain't going to knock Matt. He's a good fighter, but like, it wasn't me on the night. It wasn't me on the night. Yeah. So I'm going to come back for him anyway. So they put Darren Barker in there. Hennessy was both our promoters, so that fight could be made. But I know Mick wasn't really that keen on it. He knew what it was all about. He knew it. He told me, Mick, after the fight, telling me I had a broken leg, blah, blah, blah. So I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
I ain't going to mention tonight, but that ain't me.
Yeah.
So I was just sat on the side of the ring, bad day at the office, but I'll come back. Yeah. And I was determined I was going to do that. So I come back and he's give the belt up. It was Barker. I was going to be fighting. Shape of my life now. Shape of my life. Legs repaired.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, he's gonna blow people away. Hold tight, mate. I'll be there for you in a bit, son. Don't worry. I'll just get rid of this geezer and then we'll go from there. I mean, Darren was a really good fighter. He won the WBA title, so it weren't like he was a mug, but I just knew my heart of hearts. Me fired up. I never lost to anyone when I was, when things had gone the way I was. I knew I could do it. I can beat this guy. And then a week before the fight, I became violently ill, and like a stomach bug, and I just kept repeatedly throwing up. I don't know what it was, whether it was some of that or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, it was only a week or so before the fight. I went down. I remember you trying to cut weight anyway. I went down to 11 stone. I was like that, and I had to get it called out, and then obviously went to the doctors, and they called me. I said I wasn't fit to fight, obviously, and I said to Mick, like, please, your show, you're promoting it, put it on another time. I can't do that now. It's all going through. So I had to pull someone in at the time to fight Darren, and I was in limbo. When do I get my chance again? Well, it is what it is. Well, that was kind of there. You're gonna have to wait. So I ain't got another 18 months to wait again now. I'm at this time, 36 at the time or whatever. So I ain't got a long time now. I'm close to finishing anyway, but I want to go out with a bang. So anyway, I'm in limbo. Someone from the local council said, "What are you doing with yourself now?" I said, "Not a lot really. I'm just waiting for this fight to be. Do you fancy training some naughty boys for us?"
Okay, so was this when you started doing the non-contact boxing?
That's where it all started, yeah.
All right.
And so mad.
Yeah, and you end up with 39 schools that you're
39 schools, 52 sessions across the country, yeah.
Wow, what was that like coaching these kids?
Box clever, it was mad. It was like the first kid I ever had. So they asked me if I'd do this thing, and I was like, yeah, go on then, we'll give it a blast. I've never done coaching before anyway, but we'll give it a blast.
Yeah.
Anyway, the woman that was bringing me in, she got moved from the departments and whatever, and the new guy coming, he was like, well, she was offering you way too much money. We can't pay that sort of money, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, listen, I've got my DBS, I've done this, I've had to do a boxercise course, believe it or not, to get around the red tape to train kids and stuff.
Even though you're professional.
Yeah, you can't train them on a as a pro boxer. You've got to have some sort of thing for the councils. They have to tick the boxes. So I had to do a boxercise course. That got me over the red tape. Okay. I've done my DBS, and I'm just about to do it. And this guy said, like, we can get free coaches for what we're going to pay you. Why the hell would we pay you that kind of money? I said, well, look, just give me an opportunity. I've done everything now. I said, if you don't like what you said, don't do no contract. Yeah. If you don't like what I'm doing, if it's not working, then get rid of me. I'm more than happy to do that. Come and watch what I'm doing and see how I get on. They went, all right, but we're not going to give you anyone easy. We want you to get the work. We're going to give you the worst kid we've got. At that sort of money, you need to show it's going to be a challenge. So they sent me this kid along, and he turns up, and he was 11 years of age at the time. And he turns up, and he was like, he said to me already, I don't care who you are. I'm only
Just
here
off
because
the
she's
bat.
dragged me here.
Okay.
On about his mum.
Yeah.
I'm like, here we go. He lost his father not long ago, and she was going through a bad time, expelled from school, and all these sort of things. And yeah, he was a really challenging kid. And I said, don't get upset if he just walks out, because he's really hard to keep hold of this kid. You know, we can't keep him staying any session, but good luck, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it'll prove your salt if you can do something with him. So I was like, fair enough. So he gets on there, goes, you know, show him. He said, I don't want to do this. Sits there, goes, let me show you what you could be doing. Then so I got the skipping rope. Remember, I was training for fights. I'm still fit at that time.
Yes.
So I start doing a bit of skipping and showing him a few tricks and stuff. And he's like, do you like that? He's like, yeah. So do you want to have it? And I'm like, yeah, all right, fair enough. Got on the bag, done a few bag combinations. So I can show you how to do that. Nah, not yet. So I said to the guys, you just said, can you stand up, Justin, with me? So he's not on his own. Right, stand up. I said, what? And you're right with son? He said, my left hand. I went, oh, you're a southpaw. All right, fair enough. Stand up, right leg forward, son, blah, blah, blah. Got him through the things. And we're only about 5 minutes away from the end of the lesson there.
Yeah.
So I'll get him into it now. He goes, you know what, son? You know what, you've got a little bit about you. Really? I went, yeah. He said, oh, put these gloves on. Put the gloves on. And then we got the pads on. And I done a little bit of work with him. I said, like, you know, I think you could do well at this sport. And he kind of like left from there, walked off. And hopefully I'll see you next week. I can't get rid of him now. He's 24 years of age and he's a pro boxer.
That is incredible.
You know, he's still with me today. And he was, and so going back there, Joe was just joking with that. Obviously, he's still with me and he's a lovely kid. And but it's mad. He's more like a son than anything because I've known him that long now.
Yes.
And to be an amateur boxer for me and then to be a pro boxer now is just, it's surreal. It's weird.
You've been on that journey with
I've been with the journey from day one. So anyway, like he comes back the next week. Next week, first week he was in his school uniform. Next week he's in the proper tracksuit. Can I help you? Your stuff, Mr. Elcock, blah, blah, blah. And then we just build up this bond. And the council like, I can't believe this is crazy. Can you do this with another kid? And that's how Box Clever started. So we got like, it started growing and growing and growing from him.
So how did you get into all these different schools then?
Well, seeing the difference I made with him, I spoke to the council and said, you know, at the time then I realised that my career was kind of going, listen to this for a mad idea. I wanted to come back at the age of 40.
Okay.
At the age of 40 and be the oldest British champion ever. So I'm thinking I'm 36, 37 now.
Yeah.
I'll do this for a few years. I still used to train with all the kids when I was doing it. I'd do all the session with them.
Mm-hmm.
I still kept running, still kept training. In my mind, I was coming back when I was 40 years of age.
Why 40?
Because nobody's ever done it.
Okay.
Nobody's ever done it. I wanted to be the oldest British champion. I love records. I love doing stuff people can't tell me I can't do. 40, you're mad.
Yeah.
So, but I started the business off and then obviously didn't expect it. It was one man in a borrowed van when I started.
Yeah.
And then we ended up obviously at the height of it all, like, you know, 6 coaches, 2 vans, you know, just, it was mental. 59 sessions, 39 schools, 52 sessions, 39 schools. Working for Warsaw Council, Lichfield Council, Solihull Council, Wolverhampton Council, like all main contracts.
It impacted so many different kids' lives.
Yeah, it was wicked. And that was what it was, see, when I got teachers ringing me up and saying, can you have a chat with him? He's like messing about. Go, listen, toe the line, son. She won't be doing it thanks way, you know. No, just get them back in line.
They can relate to you. It's a different level, isn't it?
Yeah, and parents then, I was that naughty kid, remember?
Yes.
You know, I left school, the only thing I left school with, and I show it to the kids today because it's there, I've still got the certificate, believe it or not. And the certificate I got when I left school was called the Survival Award.
Okay.
And it was for the person that was most likely to be excluded, but survived and improved beyond recognition. That's what they gave me when I left.
Right, okay.
That's because I started boxing. And the actual way the teachers were with me after I started being in the paper, local schoolboy, Sir Wilfred Martineau schoolboy gets to an ABA semi-final and Olympic hopefuls and that. Their attitude and the way they were with me changed, and it changed me as well. So that was a big thing for me. So I called it Box Clever because I wanted the kids to understand that, listen, you can be great at a sport, and look, it nearly never happened for me. And it was an element of luck in there. Please get something behind you, get a job. Or an education. There's me. Look how rich is that. I'm going into schools going, get an education. If, for God forbid, if you ever got injured, you know, it nearly never happened for me. Yes. What would I do then? I'm in a job that I don't like. Or at the same time, later on, I managed myself. So I actually managed my own career at the end for the last 6 years of my career. Yes. And so I believe I come out of it with something at the end. But like, imagine having to pay someone to do that for you, but being smart enough, because just didn't interest me back in the day. I wish it did. I wish I'd done a bit more in school. Okay. It wasn't that I was stupid, and that's what used to annoy the teachers. Yeah. It was just didn't interest me. I wish I had more interest. But to tell the kids today, put that effort in, because it'll come back and help you. Yeah. I've had to like kind of relearn down the line when I didn't need to. Mm-hmm. All that stuff, graphs, anything there that could have helped me in life, I've not used like contracts with promoters and stuff. You're having to pay for something.
Story as well. Like, a lot of people's story, but they couldn't manage their own careers. They didn't know.
And you
need
effectively get stitched up because you're signing stuff and you're doing stuff you don't know enough about.
Exactly.
When you know stuff. So that's my biggest thing on it, really. It's not about the education. It's an education in life, really. Do it at school because it's going to help you later in life.
Definitely.
I'm not thinking about now you can, you might want to be a pro footballer or whatever it may be, but I always go in there and try and say to them, if you get injured, God forbid, or whatever, and you couldn't do it, what are you going to do then? Or if you did do well, do I really want to be spending X, Y, and Z to this guy when I'm clever enough to do it myself? Because they can just pull the wool over your eyes, really, and go, this is what you need. And if you haven't really got the intelligence to deal with it, then, you could end up at the end of your career, which unfortunately happens in many sports. You end up with nothing at the end. And
in sports, in music.
Yeah, you've been idolised 1 minute, and then the next minute you're just a guy walking down the road with a normal 9-to-5 job.
I'm wondering, where did all that money go?
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. So I thought I was smarter on that, obviously. It's helped me in today's life and creating 3 businesses after and stuff. After I finished boxing, that was one of my main things when I was boxing, was I wouldn't want to come out of it with nothing. I put a lot of work into the sport, and I felt that at the end of my career, to swap punches for a living and to come away just to go and work a 9-to-5 somewhere would kill me, to be fair. But it happens too often. I used to see a lot of fighters, former British champions, European, whatever, that are now working the doors uptown. Or when I thought, no, that can't be for me. And I try and educate boxers now, even ones who come in the shop, to say, make sure you're putting money aside. Make sure you're being smart with your money. You can't box forever, unfortunately. I
mean, touching on the shop, which is where we are today, kind of going back to the beginning, really, you said a dog would have been your animal, and then you're called Maddogs. So first of all, how did you get the name Mad Dog?
Just some, literally, that was what they just named me when I went through that mad period. I don't know why that kind of stuck, to be fair, but I was just a bit of a loose wire, really. You didn't know what to accept, but you didn't know what to expect of me. I think it was more than anything. I think that's what you get. You'd probably say something like, you could probably go for like a Rottweiler or something like that, couldn't you? You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, you're all right, do you know what I mean? But just watch it, because you never know what you might get. You just think you can strike him and then he goes for you. So that was probably me.
So then what was the process to open up this shop? Because, I mean, just speaking to your passion, your knowledge on boxing is incredible.
Exactly that.
So was it that fraud?
Exactly that. Obviously, going into the coaching, we've had 8 national champions out my gym and my amateur gym, and now we've got pros, unbeaten pros who are at the gym at the minute that have gone through. Like I say, one of the kids who's gone through there's come through. So I was sending these amateur boxes. I didn't want to do amateur boxing, by the way. I didn't want to do boxing. I enjoyed doing it just with kids. And just if I could get you to love the sport, that was a win for me. I wasn't bothered about if you were going to be the next, Mike Tyson or whatever. I just want you to love the sport. Love it as much as me. And that was a win. Yeah. So it's sparring it. But then I started this thing, and then the kids were going, we want to box for you. I said, no, I'm not doing the amateurs. All right, go to a club. I'll recommend you. Blah blah blah. No, we want to box it. No, leave me alone. I'm not doing that. So eventually, I give in, and ended up taking these amateur boxers on. And we had about 6 in the squad. And because it was like my own time, if you like, that I was training them, I thought, I was very selective. So it weren't just an open session to everyone. The open sessions were what I was already doing. This was an invite only, so I seen potential. I went, listen, come with me. I think what are you doing on a Friday night? I've got a session at the youth club. Come with me. And that's how it all kind of started. And then I was like, so we started the amateur club up. At the start, I've done 9-10 years in the amateurs. I've only had the pros. I went back into the pros again a couple of years ago, just before the pandemic. After we had that year a couple of national champions that year, and in England international, and I went, I've earned my stripes. I'm going into the pros, and so that's why we was going into the pros. But during that process, obviously, I've seen a lot of kids come through the door, a lot of amateur boxers. I'm sending them to places to get equipment. That's how the shop started. So they're going somewhere and they're coming back with the wrong stuff. So you go, all right, mate, what you got? You see me talking to the guys. You see me in the shop earlier talking to guys, and I'll always ask, it's not a business for me, it's a passion. I don't care about the money. It's not about the dearest thing. I'm going to give you the stuff. I want to give you the right stuff. So I'm going to what you got? He said, the guy said the sparring gloves, they are, but not for your weight. Do you know what I mean? Take them back, tell them they're no good. So he goes back to the guy and he's like, these trainers said these are no good, blah, blah, blah. Have you wore them? Well, I had them on the back. Oh, I can't take them back. What did he say you need? There's another sale. Just things like that, really. And just and they're trying to buy like a pair of gloves for 200 quid, and you get, like, you heard me speak to the guy earlier and say, look, I earned my first pair of races. You don't just buy races, you just started. You're mad. That don't happen. You got to earn them.
Better to give that information than you, because you've been there.
You got to earn them. Anything in this shop, if I wouldn't wear it myself, I wouldn't sell it. And that's the way I went. Adidas sponsored me when I was a pro, and so So I've got a big, obviously, but I can't be biased. I've got lovely stuff in the shop that. But yeah, if I wouldn't wear it myself, so that's whether it's something that's £60, whether it's something that's £300, I'd wear the £60 as much as I would. So it doesn't matter. Don't even go there. It's not about that. I want you to earn it, man. Go and do this, do that, and then come and buy a pair of Rays or buy. That's what it's all about, man. Yeah. And in today, it's very difficult to find something that's going to make you, have that drive.
Mm-hmm. Was it difficult opening the shop then and getting all the resources and everything?
Not really. No, actually, I started off with Ricky Hatton at the start. As I said, coming from the boxing world, obviously retail weren't my thing. I've never worked in a shop in my life, wouldn't know anything about it. I remember saying to one of my staff members at the time, show me how to work the card machine and stuff. I hadn't got a clue. I'm still rubbish on it now, to be honest. But what I did know is I know the sport, and I can give people the right advice. So that was it. I thought, I've never done retail, but I know boxing. So, they might know retail, but they don't know boxing. Yeah. So I'm going to, so I spoke to a few people and found out that there wasn't many I believed in the game, had done what I'd done in terms of being number one in the country as an amateur and then a professional, and been there at that level. And now, obviously, as a trainer of champions now, national champions, and hopefully as professionals as well. Yeah. So has anyone done that? And he's like, no. And it kind of sold it for me because the competition wasn't there. And there wasn't a lot of boxing shops in the Midlands region. Mm-hmm. So you see all the stuff we've got in here, like the Cleto Rays, the Phenom, the stuff like that. Most of this stuff here, you can only get in this store. You can get it online.
Yeah, but you can't actually.
If you're going to a physical store, not in the Midlands, there isn't another shop in the Midlands because they would pay their loyalty for me to them back the other way. They want me doing their gear. But Hatton was the first one we started because no one would give me a deal because we were like, you retail, mate? You're not retail. So Hatton sort of set it up, and we were doing a whole shop was Hatton. Okay. And it was just before he fought that comeback fight a few years back, not the exhibition just the comeback fight he had. And it was crazy because his stuff was flying out. So he kind of helped me as well because people were coming in buying Hatton hoodies and whatever else because he was just about to have that big fight, that redemption fight. And that's when we was working with him. So we'd done all that. He then sold that on. But thankfully, because of the success of the Hatton brand, the other brand started contacting me and going, do you want to do our stuff? Oh, right, I do, yeah.
Gave you that,
Gave me the start, really. And so by the time he'd kind of wrapped the Hatton brand over, we'd kind of got enough brands in there to keep going and get a bit of momentum and go from there. And I just, and what I did then was I used to have my coaches come and do the, most of the time, I didn't still work in the shop that much then really, to be fair. I wasn't there a lot. But what I thought is that you need to speak to a coach. So I'd have two coaches working the morning shift, two coaches working the afternoon. Yes. Around that, they'd be doing the shifts on the road for me for Box Clever.
Okay.
So all work way, you go, right, on the afternoon, you're in so-and-so. So on the morning, do that shift and vice versa with the other coaches. The shop weren't really catch fire, if I'm being honest. It was doing okay, but nothing major. But I wasn't bothered because Box Clever was doing so well that it was it was a joke, really. It started in Chelmsford Wood Market. It started in the gym, to be fair, then moved to Chelmsford Wood Market store. And it was in there, and we would really take, sometimes it wasn't great days at all, but because it was doing so well on the road, I'd kind of get to the store, and there's other store owners there, going, how'd you get on today, one? I go, how we do today, and they go, so. Yeah, it's poor, ain't it, mate? And I go, yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, lock up, let's go. And I knew I was making money on the night, so it wasn't really a bother. So I was playing with it, really. It was still a bit of an hobby. I'd go in and do the Saturdays. That was it, really. Yeah. And then the 1 week, one of my coaches was away in Ireland on holiday. The other one that was covering him got a job at Land Rover. Okay. Sort of come up to me and said, I'm starting Land Rover. I'll do the session for you at Lowdeef, and then after I'm going straight to start my new job. About the shop. It's an opportunity of a lifetime, big company like that. Blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I ain't going to hold anyone back. I was gutted, obviously, and you got a contract, but there you go. I ain't going to hold you back. Off you go. So I go home and I'm like, so what am I going to do? The shop's closed. You'll have to work in it yourself, so shut up. Working in the shop all the time, you're mad.
You're retail
so, no, you're gonna have to. All the shop's gonna be closed, and I thought, you know what? Again, I'm gonna be defeated by stuff like that, so I'm gonna have to do it myself. I ain't happy about it. I'm like a sad face going into work. Yeah. So I start off that day and go into the work, and I'm like, meet a few people coming through the store. I'll start off with people that used to say when they used to come to the shop, "Where's Wayne?" And I weren't there, and then they disappear. Mm-hmm. So it was like, you just think they're just saying that, really. But yeah, it turned up the case, which is that people just landing wanting to speak to myself, really, and just want a bit of advice, really. Can you help us, Wayne? And then I'm meeting people, amateurs, pros, all these things. And that week was a real life changer in terms of the store and where I wanted to go. I was like, wow. So forget, like I told you, I'm not money motivated in the slightest. Yes. but it trebled the income. It never took so much money, and I wasn't forcing anything on anyone.
Like
I'd got stuff, where coaches were selling stuff, and there were people bringing it back to me on the Saturday and going, I bought these gloves in the week, and I can't justify it. Why not? They cost a fortune. I only do boxer size once a week or something. Like one of them ones. And I'm not having to refund them on that. So I was getting them back. So I was making sure they were happy. Yeah. Wasn't forced selling anyone anything. They were buying what they wanted to be, just giving them the advice. And I thought, you know what? The mad thing was, I'm starting to coach as well. I'm in the shop and I'm going, where'd you box in? So when I'm sparring, listen, when you get inspired next time, try this and this. You know what I mean? And I really loved it. And I thought, I actually didn't think I'd get that from being in the shop. Because you think, I thought I was getting my joy from coaching on the road. That's why I was doing the coaching. Yeah. But now I'm in the shop and I'm still kind of coaching. I'm giving advice. And it still feels like I'm getting the same results. So, you get kids coming here.
Who's better than you? Do you know what I mean? Someone coming in here, who better than you to be there to give instruction and guidance? Yeah,
it's nice to be able to do that. But I've seen kids that have come in and have never boxed before, and then they're boxing for England now and stuff like that. And you're like, this is weird, and been here a good few years now, 10 years now. The store's been running, nice. 6 years over this way, and then we're obviously in the new store now, which is brand new again, another new chapter. And every time I've took it up a level, I did with the last store and with this store in terms of the way it is and the layout and the people we built up, but. Yeah, it's like, I was playing with it at the start and then I thought, this is good. But again, the biggest buzz I get is the relationship I have with my customers. Yes. I'm a people person anyway. I love people. And if you love boxing, I love you. So it's a win-win because they come through the door and it's like 9 times out of 10 the big boxing fans anyway. So it's a wicked fun where you're boxing somewhat level you at and, advise them the right gear. I've just found out, I think I've found my path. And I think the good thing is when you've got that mentality, I told you about my mentality there was. I'll be honest, when I started Box Clever, there was no boxing in schools back in the day. Yes. Right, 1960s they were done. Yeah. I got into 39. And I kind of got there as well at that time. And I remember thinking 2014 that was the busiest I've ever been. And I thought, that weren't even that hard. So it didn't feel like a challenge. So the shop, when I started the shop, like as I say, it was a bit of an add-on with the coaches thing. But then it got to the stage where I'd go, Birmingham's #1 shop. Birmingham's #1 shop. You know what I mean? That's what it's going to be. Birmingham's #1. I've got to have that challenge. Birmingham's #1 shop. Then we go. Midlands #1 shop. But guess what? I've still got one more to go.
Go on.
I want to be the best in the country. So I've still got a mission here. And
you'll achieve
and while there's a challenge there, I've got to keep going.
Yes.
And I just put energy. I get obsessive with that. I've got that kind of behaviour. My missus thinks I'm absolutely mental. You know what I mean? But I literally, I can't stop till I've got there.
And that's carried you through your life.
I believe through boxing. I believe through the things that my dad put into my mind. Maybe anything's possible. This is a kid that left school with no qualifications. But what I have got is desire and hard work. And I always believe anything's possible if you put enough commitment and hard work into it.
So much, and you deserve your flowers as well. Because your contribution towards boxing is incredible, and just listen to this story, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's one of the proudest moments has been at the WBC, obviously making me an ambassador, which was 100% crime reduction there, where 2 kids had been stabbed and murdered, and I went in there literally and got 100% crime reduction in that area.
I love that.
And had to calm that situation, which could have got a bit out of control at the time, because I remember people coming over saying, boxing, 2 kids have just been stabbed and murdered, blah blah blah. And I said, hang on, wait there, son. I've never felt the need to carry a knife for one. Or any other weapon. These are my weapons. And maybe if them kids had been using these instead of a knife, they'd still be here. Mm-hmm. They'd still be here. And that's what I think boxing done. And we got into King Edward Grammar School. We even got to the mainstream schools where we couldn't, because I was quick to learn different things. So when you were doing schools and stuff, and they were like, a lot of the time you're working with naughty kids and trying to change their lives, of course. And then you try and get into something like King Edward Grammar or something like that. And it was always, the door was closed. We don't need that. We've got A-level students. We don't really need that sort of stuff in here. And then somebody put something into my mind. They helped me, really. They wanted us into this school that was like a good school, really. And I was like, just before you go, I'm more than happy to be honest, to really come in and do stuff with your students, obviously.
Yes.
But what made you come to us? Well, we believe in this school, we've got the next MP, we've got the next Prime Minister, we've got the next Doctor, the next General of the Army, and they need a bit of backbone, and we believe that's what boxing brings. So obviously, how many good schools that I got knocked back by did I get into after that? It was literally like, you're going like, no, we're not interested, we ain't really got them pupils. Well, what, you haven't got the next Prime Minister in your school, you haven't got the next this and like, well, actually, don't you think that Prime Minister, that General of the Army, he needs a bit of steel? What's boxing going to give you? That self-confidence, that self-respect, that self-esteem. Listen, I can't thank boxing enough for the life that it's gave me.
If boxing wasn't there, who would you be?
I'll be honest, probably if boxing wasn't there and the events hadn't happened, I don't even want to think really of where my life would be. Probably spent most of it in the green, if I'm being honest. I came from that environment, the area I grew up with. You know, there's not many people who come from where I grew up and have done well in life. A lot of us, we just end up on that slippery slope, and once you're in it, it's really hard to get off.
So who would you say Wayne is now?
Someone who's learnt a lot. I don't have any regrets about my past. Someone who can really relate to. But I've mixed with millionaires. I've mixed with, you know, we do the Pride of Birmingham every year. I'm very proud of that. That's the only event that I really keep open all the time. And I actually presented an award with Chris Tarrant the first year I've done that. So it's mental, you know. I love doing that. I love giving back. I play for the Birmingham City football team. Obviously, the All-Stars former players again. Love me footy. Playing against some of my heroes off the football pitch, and now they're my pals. Again, that's a buzz. Who am I today? Just someone who loves to give back, enjoys life, learnt from my lessons, and I'm always happy to give them lessons that I've learnt to someone else.
Would you ever done commentary?
I've done commentary. I still do commentary now. I do a bit of commentary now. I've done a bit of commentary when I first finished boxing, but it wasn't for me. Okay. If I'm being honest, then I'll do a bit now.
And how you,
yeah,
the knowledge that you have,
they loved it, but it wasn't for me because I think sometimes I'm a very honest person. So, you know, like if you're the star of the show, right, and you're getting tonked, right, I'm going to say it.
You're holding back.
They don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want someone like, because I'll be honest. I'll tell you the truth. I don't care if you're Team GB. If my little man here is giving you a good hiding, right, I'm going to say, wow, he's capturing with that right hand. He's doing, and they don't want that. They want me to talk over that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why it don't suit me. I'm not really a yes man like that. I'm not going to be scripted into what I want to say. Yeah. The shows I do at the minute, and I do Top Promotions. He's a great guy, Tommy Owens Promotions. I do a lot of commentary on their shows. I've started getting back into it again, but I'm allowed to be me.
Yes.
You know, even if the favourite isn't doing what he needs to do.
Just being honest.
I'm just being honest. I'm showing the crowd what, you know, what a lot of the time you can turn the volume down on the TV and you see a completely different fight. Yes. That's not me. You won't if I'm doing the commentary. I'll tell you straight. If he gets landed with a big right hand, I'm telling you, that's a big right hand, man. That, you know, you don't really take too many of them. I'll be honest with you, you know, I do enjoy it, but I want to be me. And so I'm allowed to be that with the Tommy Owens stuff that I'm doing at the minute. And I've done a bit of a little commentary, but smaller level, smaller scale. But of course, I enjoy it. I'm passionate about the sport. I know what I'm watching when I'm in there. Mm-hmm. So it's always good. And I'll give you an honest account.
And would you change anything?
No. What could I change? Because the lessons I've learnt in life have made me who I am today. So never forget that. And I say it to anyone, never forget where you come from. To come back into the sport at 25, after all them years out, and still do what I do. Yeah. And, you know, Mike Badham, we're going to eat the words he said when I first turned over that I was too old and he didn't know how far I could go. And that was great when you're winning British titles and stuff like that after, you know, it's great. Anything's achievable, anything's possible. No regrets whatsoever. I achieved what I wanted to do in the name of, for my pal, for my dad. I tick them boxes. I'm now able to provide a life for the kids who box under me. Build a life for my family. I'm still involved in this game. I'm still, you know, hopefully well respecting the game. Like I love the game.
Anyone
you know,
you recommend, like who to look out for at the moment?
Boxing wise, who to look out for? Look out for little Wayne Jr., who's just started not long back. I believe he'll be better than what I will be. The only thing that that's gonna be a hindrance for him, he's not had the same sort of lifestyle. So it all depends.
Are you tough on him?
I am. Very tough, because I know he's got my name. He's Wayne Jr. So when he gets in that ring, people think he's been in the ring since he's been about the age of 4. And he didn't start until he was 14. During the pandemic, he started. So he's brand new to the game. And I didn't want him to do it because I knew the pressure he was under. When he gets in the ring, everyone's going to see him and think of me. And he was as good as your dad. And he's already got literally promoters now trying to, you know, make sure you come to me when he's ready, Wayne, and whatever.
Does he have your drive? Like you know, second place isn't...
Yeah, he hates losing, but I wouldn't say the drive at the minute because he's not had to really have a tough life. Okay. Thankfully, I've worked hard so he don't have to. So that's what's missing. We shall see. Okay. And this is why I'm trying to make him do it for him. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, look, you know, you can get sons of pro boxers or, you know, in the past that have got there mainly because of the dad. Yeah. And I said, no. You have to win national titles, man. You have to win amateur titles. You have to do your proper opinion. You're not just going to be straight in there. I want you to be a boxer Team GB if you can. Do the stuff that I couldn't do as an amateur. Go that step further. You know, you've got to be there because of you, not because of me. Yeah. And so I'm dead keen in him doing that and making his own name, so to speak. But he's one. I I've got my pros. Elliot Hurley's the first kid outside. I didn't mention his name earlier. Elliot Hurley, look out for him. He's a pro now. He's unbeaten. Box out the Cronk, Jimmy. You've got Dylan Norman as well. He's another unbeaten pro that I've got under me guidance. Again, young kids, but 23 years of age, still young. And it's great to guide them and be able to, hopefully bring them on to win British titles and whatever. And it's great to be able to put something like that back into my area.
Yes, back into Birmingham, build Birmingham.
Well, the mad thing was in London, loads of people used to speak to me and say, oh, now you're on the telly, but I know what's next. I come back and see family down here, obviously, and they've got big time on the telly and all that. And I remember saying to the one girl, I said, look, you don't understand. The more titles I win, the more kids I'm going to inspire.
Yes.
And I don't think he understood that at the time until later on down the line when I actually opened my gym in Chelmsley Wood. And he came into me and said, like, just want to show you what you said, you were money you were. I said, I always am, mate. If I have to do it, I have to do it. That's just me. Whatever I tell you I'm going to do in life, I will do. And I've got patience. Like I will. It don't matter how long it'll take, but I will get there. That's just me. I can't stop until I succeed again. Hence why the shop's still going to keep growing.
Yes.
And I'm still going to, because I've just got that. It's inside me. And it was the same thing with there. But to be able to bring it back into the area and hopefully find a kid who had a similar background to myself, but listen, I boxed my first 4 fights in someone else's boots because my parents couldn't afford to buy me boots. Stuff like that. And it's stuff that I can give kids now. When I talk to kids and say, you don't know how lucky you are in the shop, man. I had to wear someone else's boots in my first 4 fights. That's the difference that I can give back, man. But really appreciate you coming down to the shop.
No, thank you so much for being with us today. Until next time, guys, please subscribe and like the video.